Okay. Got that. Okay. So a little introduction to those who may be watching this video on YouTube later. We are going to proceed with our reading and discussion of Dante's Inferno. And today we begin Canto 7. So with that being said, I will invite Decio to begin the Italian reading.
Yeah. Okay. I'll try to do my best.
You'll do fine.
So we'll start. Pape Satan Alepe. Cominciò Pluto con la voce cioccia a quel savio gentil che tutto seppe. Disse per confortarmi: non ti noccia la tua paura, che poder che egli abbia non ci torrà lo scender questa roccia. Poi si rivolse a quella infiata labbia e disse: taci, maledetto lupo, consuma dentro te con la tua rabbia. Non è senza cagion l'andare al cupo, vuolsene all'altro là dove Michele fe la vendetta del superbo struppo, quali dal vento le gonfiate vele cagiono a volte, poiché l'alber fiacca, tal cade a terra la fiera crudele. Così scendemo nella quarta lacca, pigliando più della dolente rippa che il mal dell'universo tutto insacca. Hai giustizia di Dio, tante che stipa 9 travagli e pene quanti invidi, e perché nostra colpa si ne scipa, come fa l'onda la sovrà caridi, che si frange con quella in cui si intoppa, così convien che chi la gente ridi. Che vidi i gente più che altrove troppa, ed una parte ed altra con gran urli voltando pesi per forza di poppa. Percoteansi inoltre e poscia pur lì si rivolga ciascun, voltando a retro, gridando: perché tieni e perché burli? Così tornavano per lo cerchio tetro da ogni mano all'opposito punto, gridandosi anche loro un tosso metro. Poi si volga ciascun, quando era giunto, per lo suo mezzo cerchio e l'altra giostra, e io, che avea lo cor quasi compunto, dissi: Maestro mio, or mi dimostra che gente è questa, e se tutti cerci questi, cercuti e la sinistra nostra, ed egli a me, tutti quanti guerci, e della mente in la vita primaia, che non misura nullo spendio ferci. Assai la voce, l'or chiaro, la baia, quando vengano a 2 punti dal cerchio dove colpa contraria li dispaia. Next.
Questi forcerci che non han coperchio, piloso al capo, e pappie cardinali, in cui usa vedizio suo soperchio. E io, maestro, tra questi cotali, dovrei io ben riconoscere alcuni che furono mondi di cotesti mali? E lì a me vanno pensieri raduni, o sconoscenti vita che fessazzi, ad ogni coscienza or li fa bruni. In eterno verranno agli due cozzi, questi risorgeranno del sepolcro, col pugno chiuso, e questi coi mozzi. Maldare e maltenere lo mondo pulcro, ha tolto loro e posti a questa zuffa, qual ella sia, parole non ci apocro. Or puoi, figliol, veder la corte buffa, di ben che son commessa la fortuna, perché l'umana gente si rabbuffa, che tutto l'oro che sotto la luna e che già fu di quest anime stanche, non potrebbe farne posarde una. Maestro mio disio, or mi di anche, questa fortuna di che tu mi tache, che ben del mondo assi trabranche. Next, please.
Deseo.
E
Yeah.
quelli a me, o creatura sciocche, quanta ignoranza è quella che v'offende. Or vo che tu mia sentenza n'imbocche, colui lo cui saver tutto transcende, fece li cieli e die lor chi conduce, sì, che ogni parte ad ogni parte splende, distribuendo ugualmente la luce, similmente e gli splendor mondani, ordinò general, minestra e duce, che permutasse a tempo li bien vani di genti ingenti ed uno in altro sangue, oltre la difensione di seni umani, perché una gente impera e l'altra langue, seguendo lo giudizio di costei che è occulto come in erba d'angue. Vostro saver non ha contasto a lei, questa provvede, giudica e persegue suo regno come il loro gli altri dei. Le sue permutazioni non hanno triegue, necessità la fa essere veloce, si spesso vien chi vicenda consegue. Questa è colei che è tanto posta in croce pur da color che le dovrien dar lode, dandole biasmo a torto e a mala voce. Ma ella se è beata e ciò non ode, con l'altre prime creature lieta, volve sua spera e beata si gode. Or discendiamo omai a maggior pietà, già ogni stella cade che saliva, quando io mi mossi e il troppo star si vieta. Noi riscendemo al cerchio all'altra riva, sopra una fonte che bolle e riversa per un fossato che da lei deriva. L'acqua era buia, assai più che persa, e noi, in compagnia dell'onde brigie, entramo giù per una via diversa. Next, please.
In la palude vaca nome stile, questo tristo uccel, quando è diceso al pie delle maligne piaghe grigie, e io, che di mirare stava inteso, vidi gente fagosse in quel pantano, ignude tutte, con sembiante offeso. Questa si percotia non pur con mano, ma con la testa e col petto e coi piedi, troncandose, col dente, a brano, a brano. Lo buon maestro disse, Figlio, o vide, la anime de color qui vinse l'ira, e anche voce, tu per certo crede, che sotto l'acqua è gente che sospira, e fanno pullular quest'acqua al sumo. Con la occhio ti dice, che si agria, fitte nel limon dicon, triste fumo, nella are dolce, che dal suo si allegra, portando dentro assidioso fumo. O ci attristiam nella bellezza negra, questino si gorgoglian nella strosa, che dir non posson con parola integra. Così giramo di la lorda posa, gran arco, tra la ripa secca e il mezzo, con gli occhi volti a chi de fango in onza. Venimo a pie d'un tore audaceso. Okay. All right, let me switch over to the English here. Translations. Okay. Papa Satan, Alepe. Thus Plutus, with his clucking voice began, and that benignant sage, who all things knew, said to encourage me, let not thy fear harm thee, for any power that he may have shall not prevent thy going down this crag. Then he turned round unto that bloated lip and said, be silent, thou accursed wolf, consume within thyself with thine own rage. Nor causeless is this journey to the abyss. Thus is it willed on high, where Michael wrought vengeance upon the proud adultery. Even as the sails inflated by the wind, involved together, fall when snaps the mast, so fell the cruel monster to the earth. Next.
Thus we descended into the fourth chasm, gaining still farther on the dolesome shore, which all the woe of the universe insacks. Justice of God, who heaps up so many new toils and sufferings as I beheld. And why doth our transgression waste us so? As doth the billow there upon Charybdis, that breaks itself on that which it encounters, so here the folk must dance their roundelay. Here saw I people more than elsewhere many, on one side and the other, with great howls, rolling weights forward by main force of chess. They clashed together, and then at that point, each one turned backward, rolling retrograde, crying while keepest, and why squanderest thou? Thus they returned along the lurid circle, on either hand unto the opposite point, shouting their shameful meter evermore. Then each, when he arrived there, wheeled about through his half circle to another joust, and I, who had my heart pierced as it were, exclaimed, my master, now declare to me what people these are, and if all were clerks, these shaven crowns upon the left of us. Next, please.
And he to me, all of them were as great in intellect in the first life, so much that they there with measure they no spending made. Clearly enough their voices barked forth. Whenever they reached the 2 points of the circle, for sunders them the opposite effect. Clerks those were who no hairy covering had on the head, and popes and cardinals, in whom dealt avarice practised its excess. And I, my master, among such as these I ought forsooth to recognize some few, who were infected with these maladies. And he to me, vain thought thou entertainest, the undiscerning life which made them sordid, now make them unto all discernment dim. For ever shall they come to these two buttings, these from the sepulchre shall rise again, with the fist closed, and these with tresses shown. Next, please.
What line did you end at, please?
58.
58, okay, thank you. Ill-giving and ill-keeping the fair world, having taken from them and placed them in this scuffle, whate'er it be, no words adorn I for it. Now canst thou, son, behold the transient farce of goods that are committed unto fortune, for which the human race each other buffet. For all the gold that is beneath the moon, or ever has been, of these weary souls, could never make a single one repose. Master, I said to him, now tell me also, what is this fortune which thou speakest of, that has the world's goods so within its clutches? And he to me, O creatures imbecile, what ignorance is this which thou dost beset you? Now will I have thee learn my judgment of her. Next.
He whose omniscience everything transcends, the heavens created and gave who should guide them, that every part to every part may shine, distributing the light in equal measure. He in like manner to the mundane splendors ordained a general mistress and guide, that she might change at times the empty treasure from race to race, from one blood to another, beyond resistance of all human wisdom. Therefore, one people triumphs and another languishes in portions of her judgment, which hidden is as in the grass a serpent. Your knowledge has no counterstand against her. She makes provision, judges, and pursues. Her governance as theirs the other gods. Her permutations have not any truth. Necessity makes her precipitate, so often comets who his turn obtains. Next, please.
And this is she who is so crucified even by those who ought to give her praise, giving her blame amiss and bad repute, but she is blissful and she hears it not. Among the other primal creatures gladsome she turns her sphere, and blissful she rejoices. Let us descend now unto greater woe. Already sinks each star that was ascending when I set out, and loitering is forbidden. We crossed the circle to the other bank, near to a fount that boils and pours itself along a gully that runs out of it. The water was more somber far than purse, and we in company with the dusky waves made entrance downward by a path uncouth. A marsh it makes, which has the name of Styx. This tristful brooklet, when it has descended down to the foot of the malign gray shores. Next.
And I, who stood intent upon beholding, saw people mud besprent in that lagoon, all of them naked and with angry look. They smote each other, not alone with hands, but with the head and with the breast and feet, tearing each other piecemeal with their teeth. Next.
Said the good master, son, thou now beholdest, the souls of those whom anger overcame. And likewise I would have thee know for certain, beneath the water people are who sigh, and make this water bubble at the surface, as the eye tells thee wheresoe'er it turns. Next.
Fixed in the mire, they say, we sullen were, in the sweet air which by the sun is gladdened, bearing within ourselves the sluggish weak. Now we are all sullen in the sable mire. This hymn do thy keep gurgling in their throats, for with unbroken words they cannot say it. Thus we went climbing round the filthy fen, a great arc twixt the dry bank and the swamp, with eyes turned unto those who gorged the mire. Unto the foot of a tower we came at last.
Mhm.
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 Yeah, back we go.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I will read the first 9 lines. Papa Satan, Alepe. Thus Plutus with his clucking voice began, and that benignant sage who all things knew said to encourage me, let not thy fear harm thee, for any power that he may have shall not prevent thy going down this crag. Then he turned around into that bloated lip and said, be silent, thou accursed wolf, consume within thyself with thine own rage. Yeah, and I should probably read the next 3, but I won't. I'll stop
I
there.
was thinking about the Wizard of Oz.
Okay, so say more.
Well, when Dorothy braved her way into what seemed like hell, she threw water at the witch, and the wizard somehow was naked. He was human. He wasn't a wizard. She unmasked him. So that's what Virgil does to Plutus.
Uh-huh.
I like the line 9, consume within thyself thine own rage. I think that's good advice.
Mm-hmm. So here we have the lupus again. Remember back in Canto 1 when he encountered the wolf.
But this is lupus, metaphoric lupus.
What did you say, Dicio?
It's a metaphoric lupus because Pluto is a devil. No?
Mm-hmm.
Virgilio is talking to Pluto.
Mm-hmm. Plutus.
And Pluto is the god of riches and waste. What's the word?
No, but this is a simple devil. The Pluto that is god of riches and so on is in Italian Plutone. There is a mess in the language here. Pluto is the god of the underworld, married to Proserpine, and this Pluto is a simple devil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's not clear when I read Longfellow and I read Sayre's notes, and I think this image just covers a lot of meaning. God of the underworld, God of riches, and waste of resources. I think it's a kind of catch-all image. Just I didn't do any other homework about it, just reading those 2 sets of notes.
Because the vision, the Dante's vision is from Christianity, not from the point of view of the Greek mythology.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, in this particular case, though, he is bringing in a lot of Greek mythology, or
Absolutely.
because we have Plutus, and then we'll find as we read along in here that unlike
Charybdis also. Charybdis. Yeah.
mhm, right, and that he is actually going to be introducing us to the concept of sin as being against the golden mean, which is a very Aristotelian concept, not a Christian concept. So as we will see as we read this, that there's actually two groups of materialistic sinners here. There are the sinners that just keep gathering material, and then we have the profligates that keep on spending everything that they have. And this is a demonstration of the incorrect,
Use of
according.
money, use of money, of richness,
Right.
riches. Yeah. Incorrect use of riches, of money, and so on.
The correct use of material things is neither to gather them too greedily or to spend them too loosely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, in the beginning here, like 1 through 3, we do have Plutus as a guardian in the underworld of this circle, at trying to be scary. And Virgil basically says to him, hey, don't bother with all that stuff. You don't have any power over us, because we're not part of the sinners that have been sent to you. So that's kind of interesting, and we're going to see that again and again. We saw that actually last time with the what was the dog? Three-headed dog.
Cerberus.
Cerberus.
Right, where in that particular case, rather than talking to him, Virgil just threw a clot of mud uh, at the open mouths, and that settled that beast. Yeah. And then there's a reinforcement. There's a reinforcement after that. Let's see, did we have the second reading in here? I think we need to start. Let's go ahead and read a little bit further. I believe you're the next reader, John. Is that right?
Yes. Not costless is somebody else better go. My wife just got home. To me, she's
Okay.
been gone 4 hours. To the dogs, it's 4 years. So somebody else read now, and I'll mute.
Okay. Very
Okay.
good. Who's next?
And we starting on line 10, so Duncan.
Starting on line 10.
Perfect. Now causeless is this journey to the abyss. Thus is it willed on high, where Michael wrought vengeance upon the proud adultery. Even as the sails inflated by the wind and balled together fall when snapped the mast, so fell the cruel monster to the earth. Okay. Thus we descended into the forecastle, gaining still further on the dolesome shore, which all the woe of the universal insacts. Justice of God, who heaps up so many new toils and sufferings as I beheld, and why doth our transgression waste us so? Okay, as doth the billow there upon Charybdis, that break itself on that which it encounters, so here the folk must dance their roundly.
And I'm
Yes?
going back to the proud adultery, way up, 11 or
yes,
12.
Benjamin.
Yeah,
12.
yeah.
Okay, now goes.
And this, according to Sayers, that's about the rebel angels.
Yeah.
Unfaithfulness to God, whoring after strange gods, and then proud because Satan and his angels fell through pride.
Ah, So they're using adultery in this kind of metaphorical sense?
In the biblical sense of unfaithfulness to God. That's what the
Okay.
note I'm looking at.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the angels were commanded by Michael, the angel Michael.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
My
Michael's war upon the rebellious angels.
In the Greek mythology, there is also this situation, is the fall of the Titans. Titans.
yeah.
Titans.
Right.
Oh,
So,
the
what is
Titan.
that? What is that story?
Is so the Catholic mythology is similar to the Greek mythology.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. So that story is where the Titans, who were the giants, rebelled against Zeus.
Zeus. So they were they fall down from the heavens.
Right. They were put underneath the earth, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a quite similar mythology.
Yeah,
Religion for me is mythology.
absolutely. The myths that kind of teach the religious principles that comes from mythology.
Yeah.
Even as the sails inflated by the wind, involved together fall when snaps the mast, so fell the cruel monster to the earth.
It's metaphorically also. It's a figurative.
And you can really see that. That's very visual in the, if you've ever
Right.
sailed, yeah, you can understand that one.
Yeah, it's a very concrete image.
Yeah, exactly. That's the word.
Took the wind out of his sails
Uh-huh.
and snapped the mast at the same time.
Too much wind, because there was too much wind.
Yeah.
I guess I should point out, though, that actually they're referring to Plutus as a cruel monster, but actually that's his job in this case, is to be a cruel monster to the avarice, those suffering from the sins of avarice and prodigality.
Yeah, prodigal.
Right, like Cerberus for the gluttonous.
Mm-hmm. So he's only cruel to them. Although, he thinks he mistakes Virgil and Dante for part of the sinners consigned to him in the beginning.
This is very danceable, rolling weights by main force of chest clashed together, turning backward, rolling retrograde, crying, why keepest and why squanderest thou?
Okay, well, shall we go ahead and read a little bit further then?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we haven't actually read that one that
No,
far.
I got verse 24.
Oh, I got ahead of you.
You have indeed. That's okay.
So we
Do
could
you want
start
to
at
go on?
31. Anna Mouse.
Oh, at 31? Okay.
Yeah.
No, 25.
Yeah,
I
start
stopped at
Okay.
24.
Okay, here I saw.
Oh, okay.
Here
25.
saw I people more than elsewhere, many on one side and the other with great howls,
rolling weights forward by main force of chest. They clashed together, and then at that point, each one turned backward, rolling retrograde, crying, "Why keepest and why squanderest thou?" Thus they returned along the lurid circle on either hand unto the opposite point, shouting their shameful meter evermore. Then each, when he arrived there, wheeled about through his half circle to another joust, and I, who had my heart pierced as it were, exclaimed, "My master, now declare to me what people these are, and if all were clerks, these shaven crowns upon the left of us." And then he to me, "All of them were asquint in intellect in the first life, so much that there with measure they no spending made."
Okay, I think that's probably
Yeah.
pretty, that's a pretty good
Yeah.
chunk.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So,
So those are the ones who are blaming the misers who kept all their wealth.
They chastise is to rolling the mountain up big stones
Mhm.
with the chest, and the others rolling down. And it's like this. There's also the Greek mythology, the might of Sisyphus.
Sisyphus, yep.
Yes, it's like Sisyphus rolling up the mountain, the big stone, and then
Yep.
from there the
Exactly.
stone roll down, has to go up again. So today, when we have a job very difficult to do, we say that is a Sisyphus job. That
Yeah.
never finished.
Mm.
Never finished. We say this is the job of Sisyphus.
Is this parallel to these characters? The Sisyphus, how do you say it? Sisyphus.
Sisyphus.
Is the Sisyphus character parallel in some way to these misers?
Mm. Here saw I people more than elsewhere many. Okay, before we get to there, let me mention once again. Look at lines 25 and 26. Here saw I people more than elsewhere.
Many.
So we're saying there are a
See?
lot of people. There's a large.
I'll call you right back. I'm in a Zoom. I'll call you after. Okay.
So compared to even the gluttons and the lovers, the lustful lovers, the implication is that there are more people suffering from the sins of avarice and prodigality. At least that's how I read it.
Mhm.
And then we had this very curious thing where instead of worrying about their own sins, the avarice are criticizing the prodigals, and the prodigals are criticizing the
As in
avarice.
the avarice.
Mhm.
Exactly.
What have you got there? What is
Yeah.
that, DCO?
People rolling the
Oh,
rocks.
yeah.
Could you,
Hey,
I'm going to put it in speaker
Okay.
view so I could really see it.
Hold on. I'll let him do the share screen. Decio, I'm
yeah,
gonna
Just the order. Yeah.
I'm going to make you a co-host so you can do a share screen.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Inferno, Canto 7, and then you'll find it. in
Okay,
Google.
so Decio, you should be able to do share screen.
So, but I have to enter in the.
Okay, yeah, I know what. Let me do it. I'll put you on speaker view, and then if you hold up your image again,
Camera.
everybody knows how to do speaker view.
No.
And then DCO has to talk.
Then Decio, you have to talk while holding the picture up and to keep it.
Ah, okay.
keep the large screen going. Where'd you go, Decio? Say something, Decio.
I don't know how to find it in my computer.
Don't
Okay.
look for it.
Well,
Hold your picture up.
Hold your picture up and talk. When you talk, you will automatically, I have you in speaker view. So when you talk, you will take up like
Automatically, the main one. Yeah,
automatically take up 80% of the screen.
should
So
do. Gustav Dore. That's a Gustav Dore.
Okay,
I
there
have
it
here
is.
as
So
well.
say something, DCO.
Yeah.
Those are the sinners that are rolling up the stones in this canto.
Mhm.
Oh, is that right? So he really is making it like Sisyphus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so
whose
those
artwork is this?
Dore.
Dore.
Yeah, Gustav
Doré,
Dore, because I
yeah,
have it
yeah.
in mind. Yeah.
Gustave Doré, French one. Yeah. Gustave Doré.
Mhm.
Not Dore.
Gustave Doré.
Yeah.
Gustav Dore.
Gustav.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gustav Dore.
Mm.
Wow.
I
It's really
will have
good.
to tell you that I see a different image in the poetry though. So let me see. Hold on, I need to do this. So I'm going to read once again. Here I saw people more than elsewhere, many, on one side and the other, with great howls, rolling weights forward.
From their chest. It's line 27.
So, not to criticize Gustave Doré very much, but my image is actually of, can you see me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of them having a weight really on their chest, that they're actually standing up. And they had this big weight on their chest and they rush against the prodigals, who I assume are, you know,
Yeah,
probably.
it's back and forth. It isn't downhill.
Yeah.
coming.
Some are going up, others are going down. Or some are going in one sense and the other the converse sense.
Huh, okay. I hear what you're saying. I actually had them all on the same plane. I
So
had
did
it like
I.
two circles of people, and we had one circle that has the avarice. That would be those with the big accumulation at their chest, and the other circle will be the prodigals, and that they rush against each other and clap
Yeah,
against each other.
One group is clockwise, the other is counterclockwise. And so they
right,
shout.
but it doesn't seem to be a slope that Dore has, a hill. It's a circle. It's a rondelay.
So here the folk must dance their roundelay.
Maybe the circle slants. Sometimes they're going up and sometimes they're going down.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
All I can say is that in my image, as I read the words that Longfellow writes here, I have them on the same plane
So do I.
in two circles, and then they will sometimes rush at each other and hit, and yell their cries, "Why keep us? Why squanderest thou?" Each one
What is
trying.
that sort of means? Like you've interrupted my trajectory and now I have to go back to square
Well, it's
one.
a rondelay dance, and they're going in a circle. And they first they're going forward, and then they're going backwards. And maybe the circle is on a slant. Maybe Dore putting them on a slant even connects it with Sisyphus.
It's only Dore's interpretation of it.
Yeah, yeah,
Sure.
It's irrelevant, really.
Mhm.
But it's a good picture. I like
Yeah,
his
yeah.
illustrations.
I bet Dante,
And I guess, sorry,
when he was a man about town, I bet he danced these courtly versions of these dances like a rondelay.
They must have had some sort of roundelay going on for him to even use the word. Let's see if I can
Right.
do this. Because here is one of many images of a roundelay. So let me do the share screen there, and there's a roundelay.
Yeah.
So my
All right.
impression is this would be one, and then there's an outer circle that would be on the other side of them. And then they were probably going clockwise and counterclockwise, and then occasionally clashing with each other and cursing each other. Hmm. Or so it seems to me. Okay. But I think also it's important to realize that Dante is doing something very radical here, which he's actually using Aristotelian categories, and that both of these parties, the avarice and the prodigals, their sin is not keeping to the mean, not handling materiality correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And that was radical in Dante's day. And then we're going to
yeah,
find.
it says that on line 42 that there which measure they no spending made. Neither of them controlled this incontinence, controlled either what they did. And it was also, I suppose, what he's talking about is it was, I've written down here, that money was the root of everything, wasn't it? So that's why he shows that there's the clergy is going to be there because they were all trying to take from others and wanting more and not appreciating and not controlling what they had.
And the line that you pointed out, Duncan, people more than elsewhere, like the majority of people are part of that group, either miserly or wasting.
It was the root of their problems.
Yeah, and look at line 40, and to me, all of them were a squint in intellect in the first life, so much that there would make.
They no spending.
So those were the misers.
Because why do they? Dante speaks about Charybdis. Charybdis was a kind of whirling pool. No?
Yeah, whirlpool.
That was turning around and to destroy
Whirling.
the ships of Odysseus and also from Jason, the Argonauts. So he passed there and lost his fleet, Odysseus. And maybe the comparison is because these people are going around in one sense, and other people are going in another sense. Like the Charybdis real pool, maybe. Maybe.
I mean, I'm probably stretching too far, but I mean, this is the argument. I mean, the hedge funds and the capitalist would be saying that they know how to use money, therefore they should have the money. And the other people are just if you give them money, they're just going to spend it on alcohol and foolishness. So, no need to pay them too much. So this is this is kind of the both sides accusing the other side of being sinners. Why squanderest thou? Why keepest thou? This is very contemporary.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe when you enter in this circle, you cannot go out.
Right.
Mhm. All
And
right.
it emphasizes the utility, like here in this circle, they're actually being active, right? The carnal sinners were just, they were wandering around and they were blown by the wind. And then the gluttonous were just stuck in this mire. But here, these people are engaging in this pointless activity that's going to go on forever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I
Yes,
think that,
it's the Sisyphus work. Sisyphus work.
so they're still striving,
Yeah.
even though it's meaningless. What they're
Mm-hmm.
striving for is pointless.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
But I think as long as they have the other group to blame, they'll never catch that. They'll never realize that.
Mhm.
They'll just go on
They'll
blaming
just
each other.
blaming each other and still being full of avarice or still being prodigals.
Yeah. So why you save, and the other, why you spend?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Shall we read a little further?
Yep.
Okay, who's the next reader and where do they start?
And Anna, well, you were reading, Anne, weren't you?
I read, yes, I've finished the section.
What is that? 38?
Mhm. Let's see. See, I have to go back and forth between
Oh,
what you call it. Let me. Um, sorry.
Is it,
Rolling their weights forwards and clash together, thus they returned along. I think I got down to 37
Exclaim it, my master.
or 34.
I think 38 or 37.
Okay, let me just
Exclaim it, my master.
mention that my connection is very unstable and it keeps freezing up on me. So if I disappear, that's the reason. Okay, whoever's reading, read on.
Well, actually, maybe 36. And
Yeah, go ahead. Exclaim it, my master.
yeah, it's 37. Oh, I think it's you, did it.
I mean, okay, exclaim it, my master. Now declare to me what people these are, and if all were clerks, this shaven crown up on the left of us, and he to me, all of them were eloquent in intellect and in the first life, so much that there with measure they no spending made. Clearly enough, their voices bark it forth whenever they reach the 2 points of the circle, where it saunders them the opposite defect. Clerks, those wear who hairy covering have on the head, and popes and cardinals, in whom doth avarice practice its excess. And I, my master, Among such as these, I ought forsooth to recognize some few who were infected with these maladies. And he to me, vain thoughts thou entertainest, the undiscerning life which made them sordid, now make them unto all discernment dim. Forever shall they come to these two buddings. These from the sepulchre shall rise again, with the face closed, and this with tresses torn.
Okay, I think that's probably plenty. So,
Well, how about 3 more lines, Duncan?
if you
I
would
am
say.
keeping all ill keeping, the fair world, have turned from them and placed them in the scuffle. Whatever it be, no words adorn I for it.
Okay, so Virgil doesn't think it's worth identifying any of them.
Yeah, this is curious. You would think that Dante might have taken advantage of this to identify some people he maybe held in contempt, but uh, he passes on that. And
But the
we
popes
never
and
get any
cardinals,
individual.
but he doesn't name them.
Yeah,
I suppose he does enough damage by just suggesting that they are there.
This is pretty radical. This early in the Commedia, to be so directly criticizing
The church, the church,
The church.
the
Yep.
church. Yeah, this is very radical.
Mm. Yep.
So that may, at least in my mind for the moment, may explain why he's not naming names,
Oh.
because he doesn't want to get into trouble too soon.
yes, because he was a politician also, so he could not be, he would like not to be involved in this situation.
Right, and I think that when he finished sections, they were shared with the public by bards or by however publishing took place in those days. So he's just at the beginning of the project. He doesn't want to get arrested before he finishes.
Well, he is making the point. First of all, he talked about how there were so many other people in this circle compared to the earlier circles. And by not naming them, by not naming anyone, saying that the reason he's not naming them is because there's just so many of them. There's really nothing to distinguish them. They're all
I'm guessing this is the part of the Inferno where the masses are, the largest by far group of people.
No, but Dante was exiled from Florence,
Right.
because he was against the Pope and was behalf
He was for the Pope. He was for the Pope.
for the
Not
Pope.
at this,
I don't know.
yeah, but not at this
He
stage.
was,
Not at this,
he was
at this
against
stage, he was against him because it was
no,
Oh, really?
Pope Boniface. Pope
Okay.
Boniface VIII.
So he
Oh,
was-
Anyway,
Boniface. Yeah, but I was thinking of the papacy. Wasn't he
He
for the
was,
papacy?
I think he was for the emperor, no?
Yeah, he separated the papacy from the
Emperor.
worldly ruler, two separate
Because the
leaders.
the Holy Roman Empire, ruled by Frederick II, I think, or something.
Yes. Right.
They took great part of Italy, and were fighting against the papal states. So they were fighting. And Dante, I think, it was for the emperor. So for this, he was exiled. No?
Yeah, Dante was for having an emperor separate
Really?
from the
Yes,
church.
yes, he
Thank
did.
you.
Because the
But that
church
would have,
took
sorry,
taking the power, so they didn't want.
he was because he blames Boniface for him being exiled. Because Boniface supported the Blackwell. Yeah, the Blackwells.
Right.
It's complicated
Who
to
knocked out
understand.
the whites. Yeah.
Well, for the Ghibellinos and whites and
No, the Ghibellines were gone at that stage. It was the black and white whelps were there.
but they're difficult to understand this
Yeah.
this political situation. I don't know.
Well, I have been mistaken. I always thought he was for the Pope.
He
Not
would
to
have been
be,
beforehand.
yeah, not to
I
be
think.
the head
Yeah.
of government, to be the head of the
Church.
spiritual. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
I think it is because this they criticize so much the church, his work.
Oh yeah, he was.
Always criticizing the popes,
Mm.
cardinals, and others.
Well, the corruption of the popes.
The
Right.
work of the church
Mhm.
is an engaged piece of work. You know, it's not like in theater or movies. It's
Yeah.
engaged in some political situation.
Right.
Mhm.
Should we start at 58, I think? DCO, you want to start at 58?
58. So I I I giving
Ill, I think.
you
Ill, like
you
ill.
you giving and you keeping the fair word, everything from them and place them in the scuffle. Whatever it be, no words adorn I for it. Now cast thou, son, behold the transient force of gods that are committed unto fortune, for which the human race each other buffet. For all the gold that is beneath the moon, or even has been, of these weary souls could never make a single one repose. Master, I said to him, now tell me also, what is this fortune which thou speakest of, that has the world's goods so within its clutches? And he to me, O creatures, imbecile,
Imbecile.
what ignorance is this which doth beseech you? Now will I have thee learn my judgment of her. He whose omniscience everything transcends, the heavens created and gave who should guide them, that every part to every part might shine. Excuse me about my poor English.
You should keep reading.
Okay. Distributing the light in equal measure, he in like manner to the mundane splendors ordained a general mistress and guide, that she might change at times the empty treasures from race to race, from one blood to another, beyond resistance of all human wisdom.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering about.
Okay.
There's a guide. Will make every part shine, so that that sheds a light and people will understand. They won't be ignorant. And then the opponent of the enlightened guide is a ministress, a female. And it's got to do with change at times the empty treasures from race to race, from one blood to another. So groups are competing for this wealth. So who is she?
Fortuna.
Oh, wait, we're coming to her. I see. We're coming up to her. The answer
Fortune,
comes
yeah.
up. We should keep going. Who's next? Me?
Yep.
He, in like manner to the mundane splendors, ordained a general mistress and guide, that she might change at times the empty treasures from race to race, from one blood to another. So they're mundane, but they're considered treasures beyond resistance of all human wisdom. Therefore, one people triumphs and another languishes in pursuance of her judgment, which hidden is, as in the grass, a serpent. So this is, I think, about Eve.
I think it's about
No,
fortune, which is
it's
different.
about the goddess Fortune.
It's fortune.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Fortuna.
Yeah.
Luck, Lady Luck.
Yeah,
Lady.
Fortune.
Exactly. Yes, right.
Celestial intelligences who control the heavenly spheres, luck or fortune, as a ministering spirit who controls and distributes wealth and opportunity upon the earth.
Right, which is very fickle. And it's basically, this is the old thing of lay not your treasures up on earth.
And the Sayers note, by this figure, Dante does not deny free will or ascribe the course of history to blind chance. He says, fortune, and this is from a different publication of his, fortune, which agency we better and more rightly call the divine providence.
I would suggest that that's an earlier interpretation of his, and that by the time he gets to the Commedia, he's changed his opinion.
Yeah, I think
Probably,
he's changed her as well.
Yeah, I bet.
Because of course, you know, you have to remember that from Dante's point of view, fortune has treated him badly at this point. He's been banished from his city and is, you know, cast out as a wanderer. So, you know, he wouldn't want to give too much credit to fortune because he's had some, from his point of view, of misfortune. So that's why I say I think it's very much like the, you know, lay not your treasures up on earth, but seek for the spirit. I forget what the quote is, but it basically says, you know, don't pursue the empty pleasures of materiality, you know, because it's very fickle. It can come and go in an instant, and it does not show divine providence at all. But you have the free will to make that mistake. If you want to make that mistake, go right ahead. But you're going to end up in this circle. Such is how I interpret it at this point.
Yeah, and it's the woman, which Sylvia isn't here, is the trigger for this happening. And then she who was crucified, go a little further. Who's next?
Crucified?
Duncan.
Yeah.
Oh, am I? Okay. What line am I on?
Your knowledge, 85, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Your knowledge has no counterstand against her. She makes provision, judges, and pursues her governance, as theirs the other gods. Her permutations have not any truce. Necessity makes her precipitate. So often cometh who his turn obtains. And this is she who is so crucified, even by those who ought to give her praise, giving her blame amiss and bad repute.
So she's the cause of their making bad choices and ending up in trouble, and they blame her, like Eve.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, Dante seems to be saying, well, fortune is fortune. It's going to come and go. There's no real predicting it. So, this is not the place to put your hopes.
Right. I
That
really like this canto.
Yeah, because the wheel of the fortune is always turning around. So
Mhm.
it's a
Yeah.
venture, it's a possibility, ups and downs, and you can lose, you can gain a lot and can lose a lot.
Mhm.
Like
And
that.
your free will is in being free to place or not place your energies in fortune.
Yeah. And here she is crucified, and then if we go on to the next stanza, she's blissful. Why don't you read some more, Duncan? You didn't read very much.
Okay. But she's blissful and she hears it not. Among the other primal creatures, gladsome she turns her sphere and blissful she rejoices.
So this is Eve. We're going to find up in the top of paradise with Mary, and here it's put into the story already. And I guess I think it is about free will.
Yeah, we're free to either, put our attention on gathering or on spending. Um, and that's actually the treasure there is how we use our free will. Free will is the real treasure. And if we misspend it by either becoming greedy or by or just by spending everything that we have, that's a misuse. And that seems to be pretty much all he has to say, because in line number 1, all of a sudden Virgil is saying, well, let us descend now unto greater woe.
Greater woe.
Right.
So he's saying that's enough of this stuff. Let's stop talking about this. This is kind of boring. This is just people, being mistaken of what material wealth is all about. And they're so boring and so common. I'm not even going to name them. I'm just going to give them a category. Clerics and high church members. And now this is the transition point right here. Let us descend now unto greater woe, saying, let's go down to the next circle.
Even though he didn't name any of the clerics, it's like 700. He didn't name any of them. He just suggested that they were there. He was so brave to do that.
He was, yes.
Because he was still really criticizing the church.
Yeah, just the popes
By just
and
suggesting that that's what they were there, and
cardinals.
that's what they were there for.
Those are the only ones, the popes and cardinals.
Well, and just the clergymen, the actual kind of
Mhm.
lay people, the Franciscans and Dominicans. Those are the ones that don't have any hair, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right, exactly.
So he's actually kind of seems to me he's making another radical stance here. He's saying that the lower members of the church, basically the monks, that their problem is um, holding too much. And then above them, we have the popes and the cardinals and all those people who are busy gathering and spending. Am I misreading that, or does anybody understand what I'm saying?
I'm looking in the notes. It makes sense, but I don't. Let's see. Did anybody else shave their heads besides the monks?
Mm. Go back to
I
that.
don't think so.
Apparently, just looking at notes here, tortured head, a shaven crown of the head was the sign of those who had entered clerical orders. So it's no particular one. It's just
It's
they,
not it's the center of the
yeah,
the head. They still have the fringe, right?
yeah. I think so.
It's like they have a crown of hair, but the top of their heads are bald.
Hmm. Okay, so let me read Hollander's notes. This has to do with lines 46 through 48. The insistence on on the large number of clerics among the avaricious, parentheses, and no other social orders are identified as being avaricious, not even the bankers or moneylenders. Continues now, including a plurality of popes. The anonymous plurality of popes mentioned in verse 47 leads the reader free to supply any number of such pontiffs. The essential impression left by the poem as a whole is that more popes are damned than saved. This is probably true.
So we can deduce that Dante was against the church, the popes.
Well, he was criticizing it.
This party was
Yeah.
against the pope.
Well, he thought there could be a good pope, but most of them weren't.
We have an example later on, the Borgias. The Borgias.
Borgias, yes.
He was married. He had a daughter and a son that make all kind of sins.
Right.
Right. The boy,
Rodrigo Borgia was Clement the Seventh, Clement the Eighth, or something. Clement the Eighth.
Yeah, they come later, lower.
Later on, 15th century.
But the bankers, they come lower. The usurers.
Yes,
way down. Yeah.
The Medici, they dominated the banks and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Lorenzo di Medici, Giuliano di Medici, they made two popes.
Right.
Medici. They made two popes. They elected.
Mm-hmm.
But this was later on.
This is an interesting line 98. Loitering is forbidden. They have to keep going. They can't delay.
Yeah, because it almost passed one night. because the
Right.
stars were fading. They were going down. They were up, then they were down.
Oh yeah, that's Virgil. That's Virgil. That's Virgil talking to Dante.
Yeah.
He's saying, "Come on, Dante, we got to go to the next
Yeah,
circle."
let's go. Let's
Mhm.
go. The time is
Oh,
best.
okay.
So already sinks each star that was ascending when I set out, and loitering is forbidden. So Virgil has been given his marching orders to keep moving. And I think the implication also is that the circle of the avarice and the prodigals, there's only so much you can say.
Yeah.
They're just, they're kind of nondescript, common sinners.
Yeah, because now they are going to enter in the lake, the Styx lake.
Mhm.
Styx or Styx.
We cross the
Six.
circle to the other bank near to a fount that boils and pours itself along a gully that runs out of it. Hmm.
There's a fountain with dirty water.
So we
Mhm.
should go on from there.
I think this is a good place to stop, actually.
Yeah, I must go as well.
Yeah, I think
And
so.
then when we come back, if someone can make a note that we will start at like 97 or 100, because that's going to
Okay.
be very short, and
Mhm.
it's going to feed pretty quickly into Canto 8.
Okay.
That sound
I
okay?
wrote
Yeah,
it down.
that's good for me. I'm going to say goodbye. I've got another
Bye, Anne.
appointment.
Bye,
Okay,
John.
bye-bye now. Thanks for the comments.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Perfect.
Duncan, is there reading tomorrow?
Ulysses. Oh, there is. There's a Finnegan's
I'm
Wake,
gonna go to.
Austin Finnegan's Wake.
Okay. And Ulysses, when we have Ulysses?
It'll be the following Thursday on the 16th. Is it
16, huh?
15th, I think. Tomorrow's the 8th. So it'll be the next Thursday, which I think is the 15th.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes.
Did you
The
get
third.
did you get the notice from Peter?
Yes, I have been receiving his emails now.
Okay, so that's tomorrow night.
Okay, tomorrow night. Okay.
The Austin. So it'll be at the 10 o'clock your time. It'll
10,
start.
10 o'clock. Okay. Got it.
Okay.
Thank you for your help.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.